Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea. All of you have seen the title of my channel, and all of you know the meaning behind it. I hope so anyway. We have, unfortunately, for decades now, been represented by mere hollow shells of men and women at the local, state, and even federal levels here within the United States of America. If you either do not believe that or simply cannot fathom it within your mind, I will say to you, pray that your eyes be opened. Now, is it fair for me to state that every elected representative in this land is a zombie or puppet controlled by the ruling elite class? Most certainly not, but I do believe it is safe to say that many are. With that in mind, this ragdoll comes to you this day and asks the question, is Donald Trump a puppet? Yes, you know, a mere pawn in the hands of wealthy handlers, much like Felon Joe was, and we can rest assured that many more are on this list also. It is, after all, an honest question, my viewers, and one that does deserve an honest answer. Now, I realize that some watching may get up in arms that I even asked such a question, but allow me to state that much of what has transpired since January 20, 2025 has not always made the most logical sense in this land, and I do not believe the current President of the United States has come forth with explanations for it either. I think we all know that issues and red flags have arisen under Trump 2.0, and I have discussed at least a few of them in videos prior. Worthy of mention is the now well-known events that took place at Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13, 2024. While the then-president-to-be appears for all intents and purposes to have unwittingly received a gunshot wound to his right ear, I do believe that all of us need to take off our glasses and give this a second look. How quickly was the entire affair closed to the general public? How quickly did the infamously dishonest FBI announce that it was a lone gunman, 19 years young, and that he also had no social media profile whatsoever? A story that has since been proven to be bullshit to the extreme. In fact, Thomas Crooks had social media postings in the years leading up to that day, and it was all shoved under the rug at quantum speed. But, my loyal viewers, back to the president-to-be, one Donald J. Trump. This is a man who has an entire history of carrying grudges and being repetitive on the slights or perceived slights aimed at him. Why would he now never mention this at all? Has he been sworn to silence by the real controlling forces at FBI and even higher up the chain of command? Also, kids and cousins, what do any of you think when I mention the Epstein list? Do you think it is all neatly put to bed and that there is truly nothing more to see here? Does it happen to strike anyone other than myself as odd that Trump himself said many times that it was a Democrat hoax, then that there was no Epstein list at all, or any more evidence to release, until public pressure and the Congress finally pressured him and his ineffective DOJ to actually release the list and all material evidence that had in their possession? And we have not, to this very day, even seen the majority of those files because of ongoing litigation, and also because Trump himself went back on his own word and heavily redacted much of what we did see. To my untrained eyes, the entire affair smacks of puppet strings attached to the president. Why else would he have hesitated, then reneged on his very own promises? My friends and colleagues, I think we also need to take a concerned glance at the way Trump has conveniently forgotten all about the crimes committed under the tutelage of Nasty Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Merrick Garland, James Comey, Chris Wray, Alejandro Mayorkas, and myriad other co-conspirators, even going back to Trump's first term in office, when it is widely known that Barry Soetoro, John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and even 51 CIA agents conspired to conduct a coup d'etat against a duly elected U.S. president. Yet here we are, all nary a word is spoken about potential indictments and or prosecutions of the well-documented perpetrators. Nada. Either he has become exceptionally forgiving and forgetful all of a sudden, or something does not smell right here, folks. No, it does not. I can almost see the filament strings attached to Trump's arms and hands. Yes, I can. And, my loyal viewers, another issue that begs further examination, why, that would be the entire Iran war and all of its trimmings. The reason we all hear is that they were this close to having fully blown nuclear armaments, and those would be aimed squarely at Israel. Gasp. Okay, your faithful commentator will buy part of that argument, but there are other issues worth considering as it pertains to this entire affair. Tell me, why exactly is a president who swore no new wars coming in suddenly involved in a Middle East quagmire that appears, for all intents and purposes, to serve no U.S. citizens at all? Instead, we all know it is aimed directly at satisfying the whims and dictates of one Benjamin Netanyahu. Here we are with prices at all-time highs across the land, people going to homeless camps because their rental rates are now in the thousands of dollars per month, new cars priced beyond the scope of everyone but the wealthy. Yet we have a president sworn to protect the United States and its citizens, doing basically nothing to improve their lot in life. Can Can anyone else see the hands of Israel all over this president yet? Whether you believe anything I have discussed here is a legitimate concern or not, I do believe that each and every one of us needs to seriously consider what has happened to Trump 2.0. Let me just say that it has left a lot to be desired over what I expected in November of 2024. Are there in fact puppet strings attached to this president? I allow you each to make up your own minds. Good night, my loyal viewers, and sleep well.